My curse words are out. Okay. All right, guys. Welcome back to the Rock and Roll Plus channel, second channel. Doing some other types of content here, so subscribe to both for lots of cool stuff. We'll talk about that later. But I got Chris and Jake, my Jericho Cruise compadres, friends. They wanted to come on and talk some wrestling, and I'm always down for that. So, with the Elimination Chamber today, we decided to do a morning preview show, fresh off SmackDown. Uh, Nothing's going to come up between now and the show that we can figure. So it's time. And
I don't know. Keep track of the Rock's Instagram. Something might pop
yeah,
up, right?
that jabroni, you never know. Um, we're talking about doing a post game show tonight to be determined. We'll let you know if we do, though. But regardless, I'm excited for this chamber, man. Super pumped. I was pumped to begin with. I can't remember the last time I've sat down to really watch, like, oh, I gotta watch this.
Yeah,
They've done such a good job of making the big PLEs a weekend event.
right.
Never heard people in the past say, "Yo, I got to get to Toronto for Elimination Chamber." Like, it wasn't like that unless it was a Rumble or a SummerSlam or WrestleMania, maybe a Survivor Series, but not the other ones.
Right.
So I love it. Triple H has made it, and Travis Scott's going to be there.
I think if WrestleMania has taught us anything, is that you can build up a lot of hype, and there's money to be made right there. And I think them realizing that, because aren't they doing one of the other big four shows? They're making like a 2-day event, and they're planning one for the future.
Toronto?
No, one of the other big four, like isn't like a SummerSlam or something coming
Yeah, SummerSlam's
down the
going
line?
to be 2 nights, and I think eventually the Rumble's going to be 2 nights.
Yeah. So
I
just
think
a lot of money to be made right there, and the fans.
and people in town for the weekend anyway.
And it's a new high. I mean, there's no reason not to. So
I agree, and make it a weekend event. But anyway, I just went off topic there. So last night on SmackDown, we're just going to cover a few of the key parts. LA Knight won the #1 contender. I open with that because that is Jake's boy.
Yeah.
Guys, I forgot to welcome you. Welcome back, guys. Good to see you guys again. I'm so sorry. I'm not used to a morning show. So LA
I'm outside. That way the rest of the family can be sleeping.
I enjoyed the promo segment last night with the men's Elimination Chamber group. It was started with McIntyre. He came out ripping Cena, and a lot of it was true. I mean, all these other guys had to qualify for the match, and Cena just sat down at a table and said, "I'm going to be in it."
Right.
Cared about that part.
Drew is he is the ultimate heel by just telling the truth. I love it.
Yeah, it was great. It's okay. And so he did it pipe bomb style. I wanted him to keep going. He seemed to be in a groove, but Damian Priest came out, and I think we'll talk about that later. Priest did a great job. Followed by it was Punk. No, it was Punk, right?
Yeah.
Punk, great promo. We hear Cena's music hit, the place goes nuts, but it was really Logan Paul. He has done a great job trolling. Great job. I'm sure I'm missing somebody from that match. Oh, Seth Rollins came out. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right.
For Punk, dressed
the guy dressed as a potholder. I love it.
We're used to Seth being eccentric in his attire. Like, they would have had a great line. I mean, they probably couldn't say it, but like if one of them had said, "Hey, this is for the men's Elimination Chamber talk," the women like, that's how weird his outfit was. I guess he couldn't say that. Rollins they all did a great job making that match just more exciting. I mean, it's probably going to cost tonight. The women was just a 6-man match because they got into a brawl earlier in the day at the kickoff show. They didn't really do anything to make me want to watch it more, except Alexa Bliss came back last night.
Right.
The sister Abigail to Roxanne Perez, which was awesome. The crowd went nuts.
I actually just picked up a Roxanne Perez action figure from Walmart.
There you go. We can talk figures. I'm actually back in the figure game a little bit. So that was the most key parts. And then at the end, the Cody Rock segment. Cody came out, still confused. They did some good jobs leading up to it. They opened the show where Cody got a special locker room from the final boss with a beautiful tray of food that he just gave to R-Truth.
You see all that wine in the background? Oh my God.
Wine, the sushi, it was nice. And then Miz came and said to him, "Listen, man, look at what you can set up for your rest of your life. Like if you don't take it, somebody else will. And then
Right.
Punk came out and basically said, I don't care what you do.
He's like, I would have done it. Like, why? Yes,
He's like, if I was younger, I'd have done it too.
Right.
It was interesting. There were some definite teases last night.
I wonder.
Really good at that. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I mean, a heel Cody would be fantastic to see. I don't know if this is the time for
We'll
it,
get
but
into that. That's for sure.
right.
Those were the key parts of the show. Decent job for the go home show. Nothing crazy. But some of the reasons I'm not talking about certain things from the show is I think it could tie into the matches tonight, so we'll do it there. So we'll open with the card of 4 matches, which I find interesting because their backstage stuff has gotten a lot better too. I hope we see a promo we weren't expecting tonight. It's at the Rogers Center. Excuse me. It's in a stadium. That's going to be awesome. And what I love is no heavyweight title match on either side. We are focusing on the chamber itself. They're making that must-see in itself. I've seen sometimes where they have this amazing chamber, but it doesn't really affect Mania, and you just don't care as much then. Triple H, I think, understands that. And he's made the chamber a must-see part, where he made the Rumble must-see, and he's made chamber in relation to Mania must-see. So we'll get into the card. I had it up. Sorry, guys. It's a huge card. So yeah, let me make sure I have all 4. I didn't realize it was that few, but you know what? They've done a great job, and some of them are really easy to get into.
I mean, depending on the match, that's all you need because the elimination chambers themselves are going to take what, like 20 minutes just for all the members to get introduced into the match itself, right?
Yeah, I think they're going to give plenty of time for both those matches. Okay, we'll start with you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, this one I think is kind of just a tease for the fans. Not a tease, but just a cool feel-good match. Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus taking on Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. I'm not going to get into my personal feelings about Nia Jax. I don't think she deserves to be on WWE, but that's just me. And so I think that's just a feel-good match. Trish is back home. She made a great promo last night saying her kids have never seen her wrestle live.
It's all about who you know, right?
So I'll just get my predictions. I got Tiffany and Trish going over. You guys?
Same.
Yeah, it's probably they want the feel good moment. Although Nia's been doing a lot better about working with, girls that are. She could literally wreck if she just does something incorrectly. So her work's improved a lot.
I agree.
But yeah, with bringing Trish back, I'm sure there's going to be some. They want to give the fans a feel good pop to start the show. I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, is that the starting match?
They haven't said.
Yes. Okay.
They do a good job of not telling you that stuff unless you know it's the
right. Who's Nia?
What time was? What's that?
Who'd you say Nia's tagged with?
She's tagging with Candice LeRae.
Okay.
I don't know how she's on a PLE, but that's another story. And then
she's probably taking the JOB.
We always, as fans, say like, could there be a turn? Could Trish turn on her in her hometown? She's already set to wrestle Charlotte at Mania.
Right. And there's no reason
you don't have to think about the next step. I think it's just for one night.
Right. And when you have Nia right there's no reason to turn because that's a big enough threat right there that you don't need to have some kind of effery that goes on.
Yeah. So Chris, any opinion on that match?
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any shock and awe on that one. I think Trish is going to go over with Tiffy, and it's in Toronto, and they're both Canadian, pretty much, right? I think.
No, Tiffy?
Tiffy's not Canadian. Never mind. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be like anything crazy. I don't really see a reason to turn Trish heel. She's not really, active. So
yeah, it's just a one night special event back home.
Yeah.
And she helps sell tickets. Okay, next match. This match. I would hate to follow this match. Sorry, guys. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn.
So
sanctioned match.
Cool.
Yes, they've had a million matches. I was at the one at Battleground where it was insane.
Dude, I'm jealous.
And this job, in my opinion, has been phenomenal. Last night was phenomenal. I expect these two to just treat it like it's the last time they might ever wrestle and just go nuts.
I was
Chris,
going to ask you guys. Yeah, sorry. I was going to ask you guys what was the one match that you would think in this whole card that would steal the show, and that would have been my vote for it.
Yeah,
you get a 1 in 4 chance of yeah.
I'm excited for that one. Those guys are great.
Who do you predict?
I say my boy Sammy.
Like I'd like to say Sammy, but I feel like Kevin Owens is due. To win something. He loses a lot, and
do you guys know what the track record is between? Like, have they?
I don't have the statistics. Sorry.
I don't know if they're even.
I think there's other things more important than that, but I'll get into that.
Right.
But Chris, you going with Kevin?
I think so. I think it's time
you
for
got
Kevin
nothing to lose here. You look like you're betting at a Vegas casino.
No,
you're afraid to be wrong.
No, I mean, anything can happen, so it doesn't. It doesn't really matter. I just think it's
Kevin's the typical wrestling fan forgets that we're thinking the short term when they know a long term plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And exactly. Well, on that point, and to Chris's point there too, like who stands to benefit the most from a victory? And like Sammy is so over with the fans anyway. He's going to be our, we all love the underdog, and we're all cheering for Sammy. And like, if Kevin just like kind of decimates him and puts him on the shelf for a little while, that's just going to make him even more the underdog in our hearts, but also put Kevin over even more as a heel. And kind of put him in elevate him into a more dangerous territory. So that's a good point right there.
So who you picking?
I love Sammy, but you make with just thinking things out, talking things out on the fly. I mean, Kevin stands
the game. Fly, everybody. We have not had any discussions about our picks until now.
I didn't even check my fly. Shit. I think, it's a good point. Kevin might, he stands to benefit, I think, the most from a victory, but the underdog fan in me wants old Sammy, but yeah, I think
either one of them back in Canada, they're going to have their moments. That's for sure.
I think you're 100% correct. It's going to steal the show. That's going to be the one right there.
Yeah. For me,
if you ask me, I think the wild card is two variables, and I'm not trying to be philosophical. One is, are they setting up a second match at Mania? 2, does Randy Orton return tonight and get revenge on Kevin Owens? Set up a match maybe with those two at Mania. So there's some variables there. I can see Randy interfering. It's a non-sanctioned match, so Randy doesn't have to worry about getting Sammy DQ'd.
That's true.
Right.
Sammy gets the win. Kevin gets his match with Randy at Mania, which is a huge payday for Kevin going against Randy.
There's a big return pop there. They get a big return pop there.
I heard he's cleared. He's ready to go. You might hear a loud scream from a certain place in Florida, and that being me, because Randy's like my second favorite wrestler of all time.
Hey, he's on me and my wife's, both of our top 5. If you're gonna, what do they call it?
No, we get it. We get it.
What was that movie?
We get it. Focus, Jake. We had him, Chris, for about 12-13 minutes. And all right. So
hey, I was focused. I'm focused on that on Randy, baby.
Yeah. Okay. So that's variable 2. If they're setting up another Kevin and Sammy match at Mania, I think Kevin goes over tonight.
Yeah.
Mania moment. So that's what I'm thinking too. And I know I really didn't give a prediction there, so I'm just gonna go with we'll go Kevin Owens. But Randy's the variable.
Yeah,
he comes out, Sammy's winning, obviously.
Right.
I know I really gave a convoluted answer there. Okay, next match. We're already hitting it. The women's Elimination Chamber match, featuring Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Naomi, and Roxanne Perez. Jake, we'll start with you this time. Or I'll start. I don't care. Whoever you want. I'm trying to make it diplomatic here.
And who Who are they standing? Who are they going to face? Is it going to be Rhea or
Rhea? We're assuming she's going to defeat Io Sky the Monday after Chamber.
and Charlotte took Tiffy, right?
Charlotte
So
took Tiffy. The winner
who'd make
faces.
it? So, get that list again. It's Liv. It's
Liv,
Alexa,
Bianca,
Bianca.
Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Bailey, and Roxanne Perez.
I mean, the who do I want to see at WrestleMania would be Bianca versus Rhea. Can you can you imagine that match right there? Like that would be amazing. Yeah, that would be my if I had a preference.
No, you're not the booker, Jake.
I am the booker in my own mind.
Okay. Well, we all are. But who do you think is going to win?
Well, I have heard, I have heard a little stir about that, wanting to see other, looking at comments and shit like that. People saying Bianca and Rhea would be an awesome match. So yeah, I think that.
Chris?
It's funny.
We're just having fun with this. I'm not like writing it down. I'm going to say what you got right and got wrong.
This one is it's it's tough because you got people like Alexa that just came back that are obviously getting huge pops. So I don't know how realistic a match with her and Rhea would be, but I mean, Roxanne is underrated too. I think she's awesome. So, and I think that's a match that I would like to see is her versus Rhea. I think they match up really well. They're both intense, and intimidating. I think that'd be an awesome match. But Liv too is just on fire. My vote's Liv.
Okay.
I think she's going to win that one.
This is interesting. Yeah. I'm different from you guys in more ways than one. No, just kidding. No. Okay. I've thought about this. I think there's something to be done tonight or the Monday after or Friday after with Jade Cargill. I think that's what's going on with Naomi and Bianca more than anything.
Oh yeah. There's some. Didn't they just? They just dropped the title too, didn't they?
Steal my shine. Yeah, they dropped the title on Monday, which said a lot to me.
Yeah.
Also, Liv and Rhea, their matches the crowd's gone nuts over. We know that, and I'm not denying that. We've seen that a few times. I think Roxanne is great. It's a little early for her in her time. It's Alexa Bliss. Her moment last night said a lot. Oh no, I've already got my reasons. You can look at all you want like that, Jake. I love it.
Alexa Bliss.
Alexa, hear me out. Alexa Bliss is back. We've never seen them wrestle before, which is a huge thing for Mania. You try to give the fans something they haven't seen before. You could do Liv and Rhea 3 at SummerSlam or something. I don't care. But I think Alexa Bliss's promos with Rhea would be phenomenal. They're teasing a Wyatt 6 reunion or coming back with Bliss because they did the after she did the Sister Abigail on Roxanne Perez last night. They did the Wyatt cutout. So I got Alexa Bliss. I love it when we have different opinions, man.
I think there's a reason we haven't seen that before. You put a poodle in with a Rottweiler, it's going to be a bad dog fight.
People seem to, Rey Mysterio proved many years ago.
Rey Mysterio has
that good. Rey Mysterio going against a Big Show or Batista. It was believable,
but he has a vastly different skill set than Alexa Bliss.
But we're talking about promos and selling a storyline and this and that, and I think. Absolutely. I mean, Bliss is
definitely see
Jackson, those people. Like, I don't think Rhea's some indestructible monster. Like whatever.
No, I mean, I could definitely see it just with the Wyatt.
Perez is smaller than as the same size as Bliss.
Right.
And that's why I don't think a Liv should no disrespect.
You're going from an aesthetics thing, Jake, and that's cool. A lot of people do that in wrestling. I'm going from if you tell the story right and say it right in the promo, it's believable.
Right.
CM Punk made a living off of that. Smaller than a lot of people, but was just so good on the mic. He had you think he could beat Godzilla. Whether you like Punk or not, he was good at that. We can get back to that. It seemed like that really both have got your gears grinding there a little bit. I like it. But we'll move on because I don't think people want to hear us go into the women forever. Men's Elimination Chamber match. I don't know what's going to close the show. They haven't said. I'm going to assume the men. But who knows? Okay, we've got Logan Paul, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Seth freaking Rollins, and John Cena. Chris, we'll start with you on this one. If you would like to start. If not, I'll go, or Jake, go, whatever.
No, it's cool. I mean, I've actually been thinking about this match the most because there are so many scenarios that make sense. They did a good job putting it together for sure. I mean, if you just want to flat out, if I had to gut John Cena right off the rip. But Punk makes such a strong case. I think those two guys right there are most likely. But John Cena, I mean, why else would he be in this match? I just don't see an end to one of the most dangerous matches you could possibly have at his age for no payoff. Doesn't make any sense to me. So it's got to be John Cena.
Well, I think it's also. Well, I'll get into that later. But I hear you. It's a very good point. Jake. When Jake does this,
I've still been. I like to chin scratch a bit, and I feel if there's one person it's not going to be, it would be John, just because it seems too much silver platter. But this would be his last WrestleMania, right? He doesn't have to win the title at WrestleMania.
And last time in Toronto,
right? He could be in there to set up something with somebody else in the match. Which the only other person I think that is definitely not going to win it would be Logan Paul, because if I were a wrestler in that match, an actual wrestler, and Logan Paul's in the match, then I'm making eyes with all the other guys like, we're going to beat the shit out of this guy first, right? And I mean, because he's a hell of an athlete, he does a great job, but he's a heel. Like in real life, he's just a terrible person, right?
In real life?
In real life, yeah, Logan Paul. Yeah.
We don't have to get into all of it.
I know. I don't, and as a Punk fan, I don't know if it's too on the nose to say he wins it either. I've actively been trying not to think about who wins this because I kind of want to just be a kid and just have fun with it, but I don't think Paul. I don't think Priest, because he had a bit of elevation. I don't know if it's time for another elevation for him. Cena's a definite possibility, but I think it's also too on the nose. Who else do we have? We have Rollins. I don't think Rollins is going to win it. Who's our sixth? Sorry,
Punk. Drew McIntyre.
Drew.
He won it last year.
Yeah, and he's on such a good crusade of being like the Drew McIntyre. Like it's phenomenal how he can come out on the mic and torch anybody and make me want to watch the match. So I'm leaning Punk because he's also getting old. He needs his WrestleMania moment, but maybe they're also going to make him sit because that's what WWE does sometimes.
Jake, all right, you gave great reasons for everybody.
Yeah,
but I need a pick. I'm not going to hold it against you.
Is it too late to say somebody's going to interfere and kick somebody else out of the match and put my boy LA Knight over? Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Let's go with Punk.
Okay. All right. I've thought about this. I figured if I'm going to come on and host this, I better have my ducks in a row.
Right.
Not that you guys don't. You guys are doing a great job. But I think Damien's in the match to set up his match with Drew McIntyre at Mania.
Right.
And to help elevate his stock for down the line. So you eliminate those two. Then you're down to Logan Paul. No. There's so much you can do with Logan. You don't have to rush him into a title match, especially at Mania. He's got a lot to do.
Right.
Now that he's full time. But that being said, so it comes down to Rollins. I think Roman has issues with him. think you guys didn't touch on. I was wondering if you would, so I'm going to touch on it. The favor from Paul Heyman. Could Punk ask Heyman to send Roman and take out Seth? Who knows? What caught my eye was Cena. Not that he just put himself in the match because he's John Cena. Was when he said, I'm going to WrestleMania to main event because that's what's best for business.
And he said he was going to win the 17th title too.
Right. Well, I get that part.
Right.
But I mean, best for business. That's saying that. No, I understand. But he said, when he said that opened my eyes up, because that's as heel as you're ever going to get from John Cena. He's always said, I want to go, I want to compete, I want to win championships. For him to say that's what's best for business is as heel aligned as you can get. I'm not saying Cena's turning heel tonight. I'm not saying that. Because I don't know how Triple H is and all these guys with the new regime about a face versus a face match. We know Vince hated that always. So I'm still learning to see their tendencies and their traits, this group. When Cena said that caught my eye. Because that's just not a John Cena line. I still think Punk is the most over in the match by a mile. I'm not a fan of triple threat matches at Mania. I'll admit.
Right.
I'm talking about the title to close a show.
Right.
But I think when Cena made that comment, that's what made me want to pick him.
Well,
and remember, he had his Toronto moment 20 years ago with Edge when he put Edge over.
John's also, I think, see, when I heard that, I kind of had the click the opposite way, because it's like I see the John that's going to make that declaration and then get upset, not win it. Someone else gets the upset. And then he's like,
which happened in the Rumble.
Right, kind of a spiral.
Rumble he didn't. Rumble he just said, I'm going there to give it my best.
Right.
This one he's not saying that. And he's done no promos leading up to this match since the Elimination Chamber, since the Rumble, which I find interesting.
Yeah.
One Raw, he hasn't done one SmackDown, not even a vignette. That's not John Cena either. So that's why I'm leaning towards him. I think Punk, from a fan standpoint, is what they want. I think from a business, and WrestleMania is a global monster. You put John Cena in there, who's a global star. Look at it from a media standpoint. Look at it from Hollywood. Look at it from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like his last match for his 17th record-breaking championship at WrestleMania.
Right.
Saying it out loud, it's like, well, why wouldn't you do that? I don't know.
It kind of makes sense. But the John Cena, just the underdog trying his best against Cody, I don't think sells as well. I mean, they're already selling. Who'll be kidding?
Right.
But I don't think it's with an edge to him. And that's why I think the Cody Rock segment earlier in the night is going to also make me think that plays a role in the Elimination Chamber. If Cody, for some crazy reason, says, "All right, Rock, I'm your corporate champ," Cena, as the baby face of all baby faces, is the guy. I know Punk had the segment with him last night, but Punk's talking about it too much. I think if Cody goes, "F you, Rock, I'm the fans' champ, not yours," then I think it's open for interpretation a lot more. And I don't, even if they planned on turning Punk heel months ago for this match with Cody, I think the reaction he's been getting lately on TV has to make you reconsider.
Well, I don't think there's any. He doesn't even have to turn heel. He just has to be the same thing that he has always been, and that's what Drew is doing now. Is just come out and speak his version of the truth. Well, I mean, but pretty much the truth. Yeah, pretty much the truth with just a poor me slant to it, and that does make a lot of sense. What are your thoughts on Cena not going because like you said, face versus face. I do see the validity in Cody.
I hate that talk because if it's a good match, it's a good match. Like I don't care.
Right, but the thing
Face
is
versus
like,
face. Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart sold a match. Face
who
versus
does it?
face.
Right, and who builds off of it though, and like where do you go from there? It would be neat to see Cody turn heel and be, but the way everyone's giving him advice, it doesn't seem like that's the way he's going to lean.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think about Cena not getting that chance at WrestleMania and then setting his sights on the other heavyweight title? Would that give validity or give a little bit more weight to
that match is already set? It's Jey Uso and Gunther.
Right, but like post WrestleMania, like that
post
one.
WrestleMania. I mean, listen, there are people that are still like fingers crossed for Joe Hendry and Cena at Mania. I think it'd be cool if Cena did a run in it at their pay-per-view in New York.
And who's paper? Oh, the TNA pay-per-view.
I mean,
yeah.
Bully Ray, whatever you want to call him. He's an interesting point. He loves the Hendry Cena match.
Yeah.
His thing was, all right, I guess you scaled, even though they're in a big arena for TNA, I think it's scaled for like 5,000, maybe a little over.
Yeah.
You bake Cena and Hendry in that TNA building, you can make it 15,000. You can add
those two could have a hell of a promo lead up if they actually made something of it, because they're both musical talents.
That would be cool. Cena Hendry, it's different. I think Cena Logan Paul is different too. And I heard in the past he wanted to work with him. But is John Cena going to be a gatekeeper for this run in his last year, or is he going to have some type of push? His whole thing a year ago after Mania was, I want to tell Hollywood to take a break, and I want to have one proper run at the end. Proper run, not a gatekeeper.
Right. Well, yeah.
And so
he's been a fan of elevating talent. I mean, that's what the whole U.S. title open was.
Yeah, he did it for Austin Theory a couple of years ago.
Right. Right.
I think John's going to be a little selfish in this run in some ways. Not that he's ever been so, but that's why I think the Cody Rock segment is going to dictate a lot of, unless that comes on after the Chamber. They haven't said what's going to happen. I don't know how you end a pay-per-view with a promo, unless there's a big surprise return or some type of attack.
Yeah.
Right. Unless it's the same and Kevin one. Unless they end with that and they do, the Orton return like you were hypothesizing.
Yeah, I don't think that. No, I think that's earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Because remember, they're going to want to use tables and all that stuff, and that stuff's not a factor in the Chamber.
I will say, it is in Canada, and Tiffy got booed when she said she was an American in a promo last night, pretty loud.
She was wearing the Maple Leafs jersey.
Yeah, I know. It didn't matter. She
with two Canadians? Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I'm saying is John Cena going over on TV with millions of people hearing all those boos on TV. Is that time for a heel turn, or is that
all American in that match? It's not a Canadian that's not getting the
No, I know. I'm just saying he's like the ultimate, like, superhero kind of American guy. Like,
right.
I don't know. It was just something I was thinking of. Just
I don't think they're just gonna boo for the sake because someone's American.
Okay.
Like, I mean, they popped when her music hit for Tiffy.
They did.
Right. Cena, man. It's not a.
Do you think they'd want him to win it there and then move on?
Well, Toronto's special to him.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where he had one of his most memorable matches ever with Edge.
I still think it's him, no matter what. Like, I don't.
I'm not saying no matter what. But I think Punk's the wild card in that match with the favor, and that he's the one. There's no one. I mean, we're talking about how deserving Cena is. There's no one as deserving as Punk. And I can't believe I'm saying this, man. But
Punk. Oh, sorry, you were making a good point there.
I just think I don't see Rollins. I think Rollins and Reigns are having their match. I think Damian and Priest are going to further their Damian and McIntyre are going to further their storyline tonight. That's why they're both in the match.
Right.
It's one thing about when Drew resigned. I'm sure the money was great, but he's worked with everybody a million times. So it's hard to get him, some of these matches now. So that's why I think Cena and the fact that we haven't seen Cena at all leading up to the match.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the Rumble, I think he did 1 or 2 shows before it.
I
Well, he
mean,
did the WWE announce, that he was back, but
he's Mr. Hollywood. He might have some.
In Toronto was where he announced the year-long retirement tour at Money in the Bank in Toronto. Was where he made the return and announced, I'm doing a 1 year.
Interesting.
So I think it kind of is like a full circle moment in that sense. I don't think he announces it there to lose in Toronto.
Right.
I mean, Triple H is very good at foreshadowing.
And long term, exactly.
Like,
Planting
I was
those
talking
seeds.
yesterday about it, and maybe it's me over analyzing. Like, we were so shocked Jey Uso won the Rumble, but if you think about it, first of all, he was super deserving. But who closed the Raw after Mania last year? It was Jey Uso. They ended the Raw after Mania with him yeeting on the. I think that was a foreshadow of a huge year. Because remember, WWE booking is from Mania to Mania every year. It's not December to December. It's Mania to Mania. Raw after Mania, people love because it's the start of a brand new time in wrestling. The fact they did that with Jay says a lot to me of him winning the Rumble. The fact that Cena announced in Toronto and he's in the chamber says a lot to me. So that's why I'm going John Cena tonight. I was wrong. Both my Rumble picks. I should have read into Jay a little more. But that's why and maybe I'm overanalyzing it, which is the worst thing to do as a wrestling fan. I do much better in picks without barely thinking than I do like thinking about it actually. So that's what I'm thinking on the matches. Anything else you guys want to add? I think we broke it down nicely.
Well, I think Triple H does. I think Triple H does. I think Triple H does do a good job of long-term storytelling, but I also think that The Rock's influence in a lot of this is definitely showing.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, because I don't necessarily. I think if it weren't for the word "yeet" and Jay getting permission to use the word "yeet," look up the lawsuit. Come on, like there's. I feel there's other people that were.
So I'll say it delicately as possible. I do believe that The Rock had told him I'm not going to be at Mania this year, and it's done a last-minute switcheroo and is screwing up the card because it sounded so awkward, that promo last week with him and Cody.
Jay, can you name a favorite Jay promo that I like that doesn't involve Sammy? I know I said that on the group text, but like,
what do you mean?
There's, yeah. I mean, a lot of his promos are.
I like it.
He's winded. He can't speak because he's like been doing this for like 5 straight minutes.
He gets his point across well. He does 4-star matches every time, 4 or 5-star matches. The guy is incredible in the ring. I would love to see him. Yes, the guy is fantastic. It's more than just a yeet thing. Remember the Usos tag team?
He's like, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I see them. I've seen them live in person. I'm a fan. I've seen them from the 3rd row. Yeah, I put the ones up for him. I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fan. However, I feel there are more deserving people of that spot than.
I don't know.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
A request.
Yeah.
Tell me if you still say that after Mania. Because I think that night 1 is going to be electric with him. So, and look at the reaction he got for winning the Rumble. There wasn't one person anywhere who said him.
Are you kidding me? That's what the entire buzz online was. Like half of the people are like, Jay is not deserving of that. That's why all those promos the last few weeks have been like people saying online that I don't deserve it. People saying backstage I don't deserve it. Like that's the whole thing, and that's why I think they're going to put it on him is because to prove that he does deserve it.
You're the first true person I've heard come out and say that. But I'm all for it. No, I've never heard.
What do you explain his promo on Raw then, where he's saying people saying online that he doesn't deserve it, people saying backstage he doesn't deserve it. It's
promo.
it's obviously part of the thread.
It's promo.
But like,
you're blurring the lines of reality and
there's another guy who literally was relegated to manager status and like had to come up, had to.
That's the LA Knight fan and him kicking in.
And was so over. And what are they doing? They're jobbing him into the mid card right there and having him. Hopefully, they give him that US title back. But like, what they screw him?
I have nothing negative to say about LA Knight. I think
I'm just going on a rant right here about LA Knight. What they did to my boy, because they took the title off of him to put it on Shinsuke for what? Where's Shinsuke? We talk about where's Cena.
Conversation that has nothing to do with Jay. Yeah,
I mean, I think Jay got LA Knight's push, is what I'm saying.
I think he earned it, man, too. I do. I mean, dude, Jay sells a crazy amount of merch.
Because he's using a word that is in the common vernacular right now that he borrowed from somebody else that had to settle. Hey, Stephen P. New had to settle that.
Wrestling, man.
It doesn't matter, man.
To catch fire,
right.
Go with it.
Right. And so like when you got a guy who's really carving out his own trail and like doing things on his own in spite of the people in charge, then you like take his push and you give it to a guy who's related to one of the people in charge because he's over. I mean, he's over, but like
over is the understatement.
He's using his cousin's finishers. He's using his cousin's signature. He's using his brother. I mean,
I've paid his dues. In the company 15 years.
I know. I'm saying this as a fan. I'm saying this as a fan. Like,
you talk about LA Knight being relegated to the mid card, and that's cool. Jey Uso and Jimmy were on pre-shows at best for the longest time. Paid their dues. It wasn't like they just walked in and piggybacked.
Dude, I've been an Uso fan since like it was Uso and New Days, and I was like, who these unicorn trumpet playing like
with Harper and Rowan. I mean, if I told you what wrestlers privately have told me about what it's like to work with the Usos.
Oh, I bet it's amazing. I bet
they're so good. It's like a night off. They're that good. I think Jay has parlayed it into an incredible singles run. I do.
Audience participation, Jake. Audience participation. That guy, every single person on their feet. I don't care why or where he got his word or what it is or how much he paid for it. Every single person. Michael Cole is standing on the announce table yeeting
because Pat McAfee and Michael Cole are like throwing their weight into it too. I know he's got good music. He's got a good word that's taken from the vernacular.
But we've learned in wrestling, if you manufacture something and force it on somebody, it doesn't work.
But he didn't manufacture it. One other wrestler did.
Jey Uso came organically. He was supposed to be just with him and Jimmy, going along with Roman, and Jay did such a good job. He parlayed it into an incredible singles run. He has. He sells tickets. He sells merch. That crowd goes insane for him. It looks so good on a Raw. You mentioned it at Mania with 70,000 people doing this.
A little kid right next to him or whatever coming out of the crowd, man. That's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
No, it's cool, Jake. You're entitled to your opinion, but I don't think Jay is just some come along lately. I mean, you've been there 15 years.
He's a lot of fun to watch, man. Regardless of, all the stuff behind it, I could care less. I mean, people use music, their names change. Stuff.
Right, Roman can maybe help you get to the dance because of who he is, but to keep you there and have you elevated, you got to do that part. Roman can get you there, but he can't keep you there.
Like Jimmy,
you're just a lackey for him, like Jimmy is.
Jimmy's like
Jacob Fatu. He's doing it organically as well. He's done such a great job. He's separating himself from Solo and all those guys.
Oh, he's making Solo look like he's this big. Jacob's so awesome. He's so fun to watch.
So
different topic though.
No, I understand, but I think you can discredit Jay all you want. It's wrestling. Like,
he's gonna have that tag team wrestler.
It's not a case of I'm right and you're wrong, and you're wrong and I'm right. I think I said that twice like that, but you know what I mean. It's wrestling. Everything's open to interpretation.
Right. I guess it doesn't negate the point that on the other show you can watch the exact same experience with the twin brother doing the same things, And if you wanted to watch his cousin, who was the tribal chief for the last 4 years, doing, that same similar match, like I'm just saying, again, it's a lot of who you know, and there was other pushes that it seemed were stalled for little to no reason, other than somebody else also had a monumental following at the time, and it couldn't be both. Like it had to be one or the other. It seems like, but again, I appreciate a dude who was literally forced into obscurity, and then was like who told the company, "Hey, give me 3 months, and if I'm not over, you can fire me." Got himself over. Literally has a unique finishing move that
discrediting
you
LA
know.
Knight here.
I mean, it's just maybe a little bit of what the f what's going on here, but not saying anything too detrimental against Jay, because again, I'm a Jay fan. I'm an Uso fan.
Yeah, I can tell.
I'm the ones up here in person. But again, I keep it real, man. Like I know when I want.
I don't tend to bash somebody for 10, 12 minutes and be like, dude, I'm a huge fan of that guy.
Why not? Why not? Like, being a fan, you are entitled to have your own opinion. You're entitled to have like.
Man, I just don't enjoy his matches, or I don't enjoy that.
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
Well, I understand, but you're saying he's only where he's at because of Roman and politics.
Well, a big reason of where he's at is because of who he knows, who he's related to, who's in charge in the company, and with borrowed, not just finishers, but catchphrases. And I don't think I'm speaking wrong. Tell me when I'm telling lies, right? No. Where's the lie?
Again, this made the talk interesting, because now I'm going to be on you about Jay and what he does or doesn't do. And if you think he's, from this moment on, he's doing things to prove you right, I want to know.
Well, I will say this: I've gone to bed with tears in my eyes watching the Jay and Sammy promos when Sammy Uso was the honorary Uso and that whole business right there. Like, I've been along for the ride for a long time. I've had my highs and my lows.
Your allegiance to wrestling, Jake.
I just think I don't know if it's the right time.
I've ever met.
I don't know if it's the right time.
There's not a lot to go around. I mean, if you're looking at it, like I said, from a business perspective, I think it's a huge reason. But at the same time, if I have kids, their parents are asking their parents to come to these events because I want to eat with Jay Uso,
right?
And you're selling all that merch, and not only that, but like he has a stigma of being a tag team wrestler. That's the stigma around him, that he cannot wrestle unless he's in a tag team, which I think he's proven otherwise at this point. So for me, 100%. LA Knight, yeah. Could he have been in this match? Absolutely. Would he have fit? Probably. Could he have been in, the Elimination Chamber itself? Probably. But like, at the same time, if I'm Triple H or whoever, The Rock, looking at it from a numerical standpoint, and Jay is getting the pop he's getting and selling the merch that he's getting, guess who's getting the push? You got to make it when you can. I mean, that's just it.
We all remember how we howled when John Cena was being, given that push because he was selling merch for all the kids and the 5 moves.
Cena did a lot of politics
for 20 plus years, so.
Right, but in the thick of it, nobody.
Cena's politicked in the back and gotten people fired and done all this stuff. We don't hear that.
Jay's not like that. I'm not saying.
And Roman, I don't think is like that.
No. So I'm just saying that in life, a lot of things are about who you know. And
no, I understand, but then in that case, they were kind of both equal for the most part, Jay and Jimmy. Why isn't Jimmy in the spot?
Because Jimmy's being the big bro and being like, it's little bros time. That's what big bros do. Like,
you think he wouldn't want to make 5 or 6 million more a year and be in the main event at Mania? Of course he would.
Of course. But like,
Jay had the charisma that Jimmy doesn't have, and he got over in a way that Jimmy wouldn't have.
As a big bro,
look at Jay. He's also reshaped his body. Looks like $1 million. You can't tell me it's just kind of just fell in his lap. Look at him.
I'm not saying that either, but Jimmy, you're dogging Jimmy on this, dude. You're saying Jimmy's not in shape and isn't worthy of the push himself.
I didn't say that. I just don't think he's Jay level right now.
Jimmy's a way better promo than Jay.
He's okay. He's good on the mic. He's not like,
if he wants to yeet, he can. If he wants to no yeet, he can. Like, he's way better on the mic.
Listen, the fans don't get dictated by Roman or backstage creative. They're going to cheer and root for who they want.
I know. But there's a lot of psychology that goes into that.
I don't think they made a determination to say, all right, we're going to just go with Jay and put. I think it came organically in the Sami Zayn stuff and the Bloodline stuff.
Right.
Jay really just established himself in that run and took a risk by separating himself from that group a little bit. He could have fallen flat in his face at one time.
I have a question. So Jeremy, since we have both kind of picked Cena for the Elimination Chamber, what's your prediction on Cody turning heel tonight and actually doing it? Because you're not going to have the American Nightmare against John Cena.
I don't know how it makes sense. Cody, from a business standpoint, is selling a crazy ton of merch. He is. I think WWE is doing record numbers lately in ticket sales. If you're the champ and leading that brigade, you don't want to lose that. We're so quick as fans to say, "Yeah, they're going heel. Yeah, they're going heel." I'm not saying he's John Cena and not going to go heel ever. I just think now would be crazy. And I don't know what you get out of him being. I don't know what you get out of him being the Rock's champ when the Rock isn't there that much.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
I'm saying you're the Rock's champ, and the Rock doesn't have to be on TV, and you're representing him too.
I could see both ways. Really,
if Cody wasn't getting quite the pop he used to get, if he was running a little stale, like, I would get it. Because I think Jey Uso's equal babyface to him, though. I really do. I know Jake thinks the same for that.
The problem is if you turn Cody heel, who are your other top baby faces? Like, Jay, who's gonna?
Jay, I think Roman goes back to heel. Face full time. I don't know.
Do you have enough top baby faces to carry a company in that regard?
Maybe and what you do? A push.
And the psychology behind it is if Cody's the Rock.
LA Knight. Damian Priest. The roster's stacked.
I just think it would be really cool to see
Breaker. You wonder at some point, is he going to go babyface?
He is babyface right now.
I just think it'd be cool to see.
I call him a heel. Then he's a babyface with a caveat.
The crowd is, if like you talk about someone over, like, he's throwing people over announcers' desks and shit like that. Yeah. Like,
I think Braun's a star. They have so many ways they can go. This company.
Did I conflate my Braun's?
Penta's a top babyface.
He'll get there. He's still new, but he's got the crowd over. Like,
oh yeah.
So
that's stuff I go by. But we'll wrap this up because, man, Jake. I think if I was with Jake right now, he'd like challenge me to a match.
I'm just the anti-hero
right
voicing.
Like, accept my opinion or hit me with a chair.
I'm just coming up here sitting cross-legged. I'm sitting cross-legged on the announce table, just voicing my opinion, and you guys are telling me I'm Drew McIntyre. So
not at all.
I think a Cody heel turn is possible.
Hey, I don't like any podcasts with two people who agree on everything.
Yeah, where's the fun in that?
I'm so tired of that. I don't know why we are I'm not saying disagree for the sake of disagreeing, because you can tell that's fake.
Right.
I love a good point counterpoint. And Jake, you did a great job with it today.
Well, and I can do that. I can do the disagree for the sake of disagree. I'm a good devil's advocate. So do you want me to take
I am too, but it looks fake when you do that to me.
So do you want me to take the pro Jey Uso point? Because like I said, he's made me fucking tear up.
Because that came organically. Why you have issues with him, and that was fun.
I don't. Well, I don't have issues with him. I have issues with people
putting you
pretending to
over
beat
here,
him
man.
on
I'm putting you
Facebook.
over here. Just enjoy the moment.
No,
enjoy
I had like some spammers reach out as Jay Uso, but they spelled the name wrong on Facebook, and I had some fun with them.
Okay.
But there's also, I think, some hidden animosity because of that. So,
But I've learned with Triple H and booking, and I could be wrong, is you really have to look at tea leaves and Easter eggs a lot more.
right.
Now, obviously, things can change on a dime because that's wrestling. But that's just my opinion. I'm excited for the show tonight, and you guys got me even more pumped for it. So thank you. I'll let you guys have your closing moment, not closing arguments, Jake. We're not in court. So Jake, we'll start with you, man, because I can see you got a lot on your mind here.
I don't have anything. I'm excited about the show. I didn't want to offend anybody. Jay, I'm sorry. I'm not. When you were here in Rapid City, I was the fucking fool over here with the ones up, my man, and holding the same title belt you were holding. But no, it's
so
one of
the belts, Jake. Come on,
it's one of those where
everybody.
It's one of those where wrestling, like to quote The Rock from last year's WrestleMania, wrestling's exciting again. And like, I think the fact that we're having this kind of talk about these people
10 years ago.
Right. And we'd just be bored to tears being like, well, they're probably going to shove this person down our throat. And this is going to be the status quo for the next 4 months.
Or out of 4 matches, 3 would have been 75% would have been almost a guarantee.
Stinkers.
Maybe one we might. We gave different wrestlers and different opinions for every match. If we can do that, then they've done their job before we even have a show.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt there.
No, I'm excited. I feel like a kid again.
Doing this, man, to get the juices flowing. Chris, you look like
Dude, I'm just enjoying the show, to be honest. The hot take for me, Cody turns heel, comes out with black hair. And joins the corporate rock and all of his stuff. And John Cena wins the Elimination Chamber. They have their match at Mania. And we go from there.
And remember, there could be some people returning after Mania. Set up a storyline with Cody. I think Miro and Aleister Black. So I think Miro against Cody is a great match.
Paint his tattoo where the red is, it'll be black. Instead of having it, right. Yeah, I see it, man. I think if they wait any longer, they're not going to do it.
He already dresses like Homelander, so he wouldn't even need to go black hair. He just keep them.
I just think it would be so fitting. I don't know why. I think it would be fun.
Go with it.
I don't know. It's just a hot take. I
agree. I think it would be as shocking a moment as we've seen.
Yeah. And I think WWE over the years with who in charge there, Vince in charge, there wasn't a lot of shock and awe anymore. It was, and I think, at least my age group, that's what I loved about the Attitude Era and the 90s wrestling was a shock and awe, having things happen you would never expect. I know the internet kind of changes a lot of that, but there are ways around it, and that's to change things on the spot, things that anyone would ever think of.
Change things in the spot where you allow a lot less people in the booking meetings.
Yep. So,
I think at one point Vince was having a lot of people in there, and there were people getting paid to give that stuff.
Absolutely. So, I think they're getting back to that, and that's why wrestling.
Look at Nick Khan. He looks like the type of guy you don't want to get on his bad side. Like,
I think that's part of the reason why people think it's cool again is because they're doing things that even like the internet people can't predict, and I think that's why WWE is number one, and probably is going to continue to be that way if they continue on that path. I mean, it's been awesome programming. I can't stop watching it. There is a lot of it, which it's a different conversation, but yeah, I'm pumped for the show, and Cena going over, winning. I don't know how I feel about that, with Ric Flair losing, to Cena that record, but at the end of the day, I think John Cena has been the guy and carried that company for so long that he kind of deserves it. So I think this whole weekend is going to be about Cena.
I think a lot of the Cena farewell tour has to be on his terms a lot too. I'm not saying everything, but you don't just do. I mean, this was his idea.
Yeah,
you could tell there's a master plan behind it too. Yeah, Jake.
Right.
Point of order: Ric Flair has actually won probably about 22 to 23 world titles, but the official is 17. But we won't. Yeah, he's still the greatest of all time.
Anyway, anyway, you're entitled to your opinion. That's the moral of the story. But guys, thank you so much for coming on. We talked about it. Not sure if we're gonna do a post-game show tonight. Guys, we'll talk later today, and if you guys want to do one, I'm down to come on. But we'll let everybody know if we do a wrap-up show. So thank you guys for joining. Jake, Chris, you guys were awesome. You got me charged up, man, which I wasn't planning on. I didn't even need this Celsius.
It's the weekend. What are you drinking that stuff for?
You are officially no yeet, Jake.
I'm a Jimmy fan. No, I've like I said, I just keep it real, you know. Your point about Cody turning heel, like I was wearing the Daddy Cool shirt, you know. I'm a Cody fan, but like I think it would be awesome because his promos, you can tell he's getting very regimented, kind of scripted, and like seeing him kind of go.
He's had a solid year as champ. Like solid. Right, well, there wasn't a period of that title run where I say, "Oh, he's starting to run into a wall."
I've gone back on some of that.
Great promos have been great. Crowd reactions have been great. Everything you could ask for, and their numbers reflect it. Like they look at things we don't know. I'm sorry, Jake.
Right.
Where they're looking at ticket sales, merch sales, projections.
Right.
They're so good at that stuff.
Well, and Cody, I
could be wrong. I don't think Cody's done anything to diminish.
Oh no, not at all. I was just going back through some of those. I've seen some of those,
especially coming off arguably one of the most epic title runs in history with Roman's run, and he's
done
to slow down that machine.
The road to get it, the scramble to get it was amazing. I stumbled across some of the old.
Always better than the actual run. Cody's been close to it.
Right. No, Cody as a heel was a menace. I was just coming across some of those old videos of him just heel Cody in AEW was just hilarious. So I'd love to
really truly have the heel run to his Ring of Honor heel run.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah, Ring of Honor.
Back in the day, it was great.
So in New Japan was so, and that guy on the mic is just. I mean, in WWE he couldn't really do it when he was like with Sandow and those guys. I'm talking about. When he got a mic and say whatever he wanted, he was just epic.
Right.
So let's just say it would absolutely shock me tonight.
Yeah. I think it's too soon for sure. But
yeah, I think so too.
A boy can dream.
I don't know what the benefit is on TV of him being the Rock's champ.
Either that or just to swerve everybody and act like he's going to do it just to get back at the Rock for beating him up last year and smearing blood all over his belt and stuff. So he could try to all right, find him in, can't beat him, join him, and then swerve him with someone's help
at Mania.
At some point at Mania. Yeah.
I like that.
Or join with the Rock tonight, and the Rock's not looking. He hits him with a rock bottom. Now I don't know what the long-term storyline is. Rock was so stupid last week to say, "Oh, we don't really need to do a match." That was so stupid to me. Even if that's the case, you don't say it. Everything you do to possibly build for a match,
right?
A little bit at the end of the Raw after for Rock to say that, I was like, he totally pulled back the curtain. He gave away. Well, we're not really going to have a match. I know that's another rant for another time. I think The Rock acted stupidly last week. He acted like Dwayne Johnson doing what he wanted versus The Rock, and
I agree.
I don't know. I know he's your boy, Chris, but
no. So I agree with you here.
A guy who grew up in the business from birth on should never have said the things he said in that press conference after.
He could have,
because also the problem was, man, I'm still pissed about it because it really gave away too much. Is the reporters in that room were mostly like local New Orleans people who were there covering WrestleMania. That
was the post show that he said that.
He's sitting there giving away that to them. It was so stupid. I know I'm ranting there. But moral of the story, I want to thank you both for coming on. We'll let you know if we do a post-game show. We're going to do a Jey Uso tribute show this at some point. The best of Jey Uso. Jake has requested that. But seriously, guys, thank you.
Hey, I'll be there. I'll be there, dude. Like I said.
But seriously, guys, thank you so much. I promise I wouldn't keep you all day. Chris, you have to get somewhere. So
Yes.
we'll talk later today, guys, and we'll let you know about a post-game show. Thanks so much. Like and subscribe. And let me know if you want to see more of these characters. Take care, fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah, likewise, guys.